my friends, and welcome to this podcast episode. Thank you for joining me in this space. Today, I want to explore with you how we can create and experience more ease, more stability, more connection with ourselves and with others. How we can become our own medicine within our lives. So let me start by asking you a very simple question. The question is, what do you need right now? What do you need right now, right at this moment as you are listening me talking? And reflect maybe on how often do you stop to truly ask yourself, what do I need right now? We live in such fast-paced world, in a world that really encourages us and rewards us for being very busy, focusing on productivity, moving forward, achieving more, learning more, producing more. And because of that, many of us have become disconnected from our needs. And I'm sure this is not something that is new to you. If you are listening to this podcast, you are interested in those subjects. I'm sure you are very aware that our world is not a healthy world, not a connected world. That with our technology, that came with the Industrial Revolution, and now with another huge thing of AI becoming much more prevalent in our lives, in the way that we work, especially within the online space, we can become even more disconnected from our needs. And let me clarify this, because when I speak with people, whether it's the clients, private clients, or whether it is female practitioners that I'm training within my training certification or my business mastermind, we talk a lot within those containers about the nervous system, the polyvagal theory, trauma, stress, and we talk about the needs, and the needs that many of us are very aware of, primarily aware of, are the physical needs. So physical needs, whether we've got any health issues, whether we've got any chronic pain, whether we have got any imbalances within our body, whether through movement or just the way that we were born or the way that we sit, we are, whether we are hungry, whether we need to go to the toilet. So these are the most tangible needs that we have. And most of us, I don't want to say all of us, because it's never everything or all. Most of us are aware of our physical needs, at least to some degree. Like, we know when we are tired. We know when we need to go to the toilet. Whether we respond and actually go to the toilet, it's a different story. Whether we go and rest when we are exhausted and allow ourselves to really take care of ourselves, that's a different story. But we will be feeling tired or in need to go to the toilet, or feeling hungry, or feeling some kind of pain or discomfort. We cannot not to. If you're a human being, you have got a physical body, you will be aware of your needs on a physical level. But this is not the only level of understanding our needs. We also have got emotional and psychological needs. So emotions that come up for us, whether we feel ease, whether we feel connection, whether we feel stable, or whether, so these are the kind of more what we call regulated states: present, connected, stable, compassionate, curious, able to connect and be present. Or whether we feel angry or upset or experiencing a lot of fear, or even experiencing hopelessness, depression, complete shutdown, disassociation. So these are the other states within the nervous system: the sympathetic, hyper arousal state, the fight or flight, anxiety or anger, and different forms of it, of the fight or flight states. Or whether we even shift into the freeze or even shut down, when we completely shut down on a physiological level and the level of our awareness, so hyper awareness. And, many of us go through those states. We might go through all of those states in one day, or even many times. Some of us get stuck within those states. And really, understanding your emotional needs or your psychological needs requires us to learn a little bit more, learn about our needs on that level, but also learn about our own reactions, automatic reactions, our responses, the choices that we are making. And then we move into the more psychological aspect of how do we think, what do we say to ourselves, how do we form the relationships with different parts of ourselves, what is our mindset, how do we view ourselves, how do we view others, how we view the world in general. So physical needs, emotional and psychological needs. But then there are some other needs that we need that so often we don't talk about, or some of us don't talk about. And these are the needs of your soul. It's something that goes beyond your physical body, the consciousness, the awareness, something that makes us part of life itself. So however you view life, whether you view life as nature, whether you define life as the universe or divine or source, however you define this aspect of being, of interconnection, of being one with. And so often what I see when I explore this question of what do we need with other practitioners and my clients is that there is a real sense of separation. And I know that's the way that mind likes to look at things. Pack everything, and then put it really neatly into separate boxes. Of course, the mind loves doing it. And in addition to that, of course, our Western society, the structures of our Western society are built on that as well. This is mental health. This is physical health. This is spiritual stuff. Needs little boxes, all of their own, not connected with others. The problem with this kind of way of thinking is that we start approaching or looking for solutions We start approaching those different aspects of ourselves as we perceive them with different kind of solutions. Really not understanding that we are one whole, beautiful being. When we approach ourselves and our experience on those different levels of our experience, from a sense of wholeness, something really powerful happens. We start understanding that every decision that we make will impact everything else, will impact the decision that I will make about whether I say yes or no to some kind of request. It will impact my physical needs and how I'm feeling on this physical level. So my physical body, but also my energy, my maybe my sleep, maybe the way that I feel like I want to eat something or not eat something, or I've got appetite or not. Maybe it will impact, my emotional and psychological presentation, how I will feel about myself within the context of saying yes or no to this request, whether I will feel good in myself and then relate to my partner or my loved ones from that space. If I'm feeling good, I will relate to them differently than if I am worrying about something or feeling not good enough within the context of saying yes or no to that thing. And that will impact my relationships and how connected or disconnected I will feel from this deepest, most tender aspect of myself, which is the soul and my connection and being part of life. When we start approaching our needs in this way, from the sense of wholeness and understanding that our needs exist within the context of the environment, the context of the situation, but also within the wholeness, we start making different decisions. So I'm sure you heard this saying that, we have issues in our tissues. And, talking about fascia, talking about how we hold tension and stress and every emotion within our physical body, especially within the fascia, that connective tissue within our body, and how fascia has got this amazing, wonderful ability to change from more jelly-like into more liquid-like, into hardened jelly, and how, when you start approaching working with fascia, for example, within your physical body, you start noticing how quickly there is an impact on the fascia and on the body. And so if we take it a step further, if we look from a perspective of the nervous system, for example, and when I say the nervous system, I also mean the physiology. The two are never separate. They always happening, together. And then bring the fascia into it, something really interesting starts. We start noticing something really interesting. We start noticing how we express through our whole being every single emotion and every single state that we have. And that goes also for our soul. So few of us talk about this connection of how embracing and opening our heart, our whole body into this soul aspect of ourselves. When I know certainly for myself, when I started approaching it more in a very practical way of really feeling one with the nature around me, one with other people around me, one with the whole of the source, the life itself, the flow of life itself. How I started trusting that so much more, then my body let go of a lot of holding that I've had for, most of my life. Because when we start feeling held on a different level, on a soul level, of course our body responds. Of course, there is a sense of letting go. I am not bracing myself in this hyper-vigilant way for something coming at me. And am I saying that life will be really wonderful? No, life is life. Things happen. There are arguments. There are accidents, there are incidents, there are people that will come because people are doing their own thing as you go about your life. And one of the things that it can be so profound is when we start understanding that life just flows. And we have got a power to choose how we respond to it, but we also have got a power to make our own choices in what we say yes to, in what we say no to, knowing that every single decision that we make will have an impact on us, in the wholeness of us, and within the context of our life, our relationships, our health, our work. It's a really interesting thing, to look at how you can know your needs on those different layers of your experience. So within our training certification, for example, we talk about this model or approach of 5 koshas that comes from yoga and Ayurvedic traditions, the 5 layers of our experience. So if you are new to koshas, I absolutely love this model of understanding our experience. So, and this is what I've just been talking about. So looking at, the first layer, the first kosha, Annamaya kosha, that physical body, sometimes called the food body, this very tangible experience of our body that, as I said, most of us have got access to on some level. The second layer is pranamaya kosha, so energy and breath body. And understanding that our state and what's going on within our body can be understood through our breath. It can be understood through our energy. And so those 2 layers are usually the most accessible. And then we move into Manomaya kosha, so emotional and psychological body. The next layer of our experience. And then we go into Vijranamaya kosha, the wisdom body. And this is where many of us really start having problem with understanding what's going on. Because for many of us, we don't understand this layer. And for me, this is where the magic happens. This is where we start understanding the inner knowing of the body. This is where we start becoming our own medicine. This is where we start understanding what it is that we need on that deeper level, that deeper layer of our experience. Because how can you meet your needs if you don't know what they are? There are only two ways to approach our experience. One is looking outside of ourselves for answers. And yes, every single one of us, or again, I don't want to say every single one of us, most of us start on the outside. We start looking, we start searching. We feel the whisper of the soul and we know something feels off and we start searching outside of ourselves. We are looking for answers. We are looking for others to show us the way. And that's absolutely fine. We all do that. It's a little bit like the language, it's for me, for so many years, I knew what I was experiencing from within, but I didn't have the language to talk about this, to share it with others. I had to learn the language. And that's not just because English is my second language. It's because I didn't know how to communicate my experience with others. And so I had to learn it. I love reading. I love exploring. And you might be the same. In fact, I'm guessing that you are the same, that you love learning, you love exploring because you are listening to this podcast. And this sense of searching outside to explain what's going on within. And then the other way is to really start from within. Start from within, understanding what's going on for us and honoring what's going on for us. This is a big aspect of this journey. If you are on a healing journey, if you are on a growth journey, if you want to become a better practitioner, honoring your needs is key foundational aspect of this journey. So knowing your needs and then honoring your needs. Understanding your needs and not making yourself wrong for what you're feeling. So letting go or giving yourself permission to let go of guilt or shame or the fear of being too much or not enough. But really allowing yourself to honor your journey, who you are, and your needs. Even if other people are saying that this is not what you should be feeling, this is not how you should be responding to things. This is not the decisions that you should be making. And yes, there is an aspect of this communication and seeking support from people who can really support you, who can hold space for you. But there is a big aspect of it of unshaming and letting go of the shame, letting go of the guilt, and honoring your needs, honoring your inner experience. This is how you can meet your needs in an empowered way. This is how you can allow yourself to learn and grow and heal. This is how you learn to listen to your embodied wisdom or your body wisdom. Because your body your psyche, your soul, the wholeness of you is always speaking to you. It's always whispering. And sometimes, oh my God, sometimes it shouts. If you haven't listened for a long time, those whispers become screams. Those whispers become sometimes an injury, sometimes an illness, sometimes burnout, sometimes relationship breakdowns. They manifest within you through your own being, and they manifest in your life. And so it's so important that we start from listening or learning to listen to these whispers. And these whispers can be, somatic whispers. They can be emotional and psyche whispers. They can be soul whispers. From my experience, those whispers include every single aspect of our being. So this is also why within our training certification, the model that I teach, that I created, the framework for understanding of our experience and working with others, it's called the Soma Psyche Soul coaching method. This is because we need to include and honor all of those whispers, all of those experiences within us. So how can you really approach it? Well, you could approach it in a big way with big gestures and in a very cathartic way. But really, when we talk about trauma-informed approach, it's about starting small, taking baby steps. Taking time to really understand what's going on for you, whether you do it on your own, whether you do it with support of somebody else initially, but really learning to listen to your body, listen to your mind, your psyche, listening to those conversations happening within you, getting to know your responses within the context of the situations. Noticing when you're feeling more connected, more grounded, more stable, more present, more curious, compassionate to yourself and others, this more regulated nervous system state. When you are on a more physiological level, when you are able to rest and slow down and rest, when you are able to sleep better, when you have got appetite, in a way that you really using the nourishment to nourish yourself. When you are responding to your needs and it makes you feel a little bit better. And also noticing when you move away from that sense of ease and curiosity and connection and joy into more of this hyper-vigilant in fight or flight responses, or maybe even into shutdown, freeze or shutdown responses. The truth is, you need to get to know yourself intimately with a lot of tenderness and kindness, allowing yourself to give yourself permission to let go of shame and guilt, understanding that your being reacted or reacts in the best way it knows how to, in order to keep you alive, to keep you to keep you going. And maybe those responses are not the best it could be as looked at from outside, but this is the best that you could do with what you had. The kind of resources, the kind of uh, inner resources and the outer support that you had from the level of consciousness and knowing that you knew how to. There is so much wisdom within you. And this is why you can learn to get to know yourself better. This is a skill. You know, if you haven't learned it when you were growing up, if you haven't learned it from primary caregivers around you, now you need to learn it as an adult. So when you give yourself permission to get to know yourself and then honor your needs, learn to listen from within, then you can start understanding your needs on the level of your soma, psyche, and soul. And within the context and relationships, within the context of your work, within the context of life itself. And is there a quick fix to that? The truthful answer is no. Time plays a big part in it. And this is why we have to approach it with kindness and tenderness and curiosity. This is why having cathartic experiences sometimes it's not the best thing, because we might not have capacity within our being, within our physiology or our nervous system, within our psyche. We might not have capacity to integrate this big cathartic experience. It might feel amazing and it might feel liberating in the moment. But unless we have that capacity to integrate it and embody it, it will not make much of a difference long term. So, finishing off this exploration, I'd like to ask you to take some time to reflect on what we covered in here. For you to connect on a deeper level for yourself and explore, how do you know your needs? Which layers of your experience you know your needs at? Maybe there are some gaps within your connection. Maybe there is something that needs attention. Maybe you'd like to investigate a little bit more the Five Koshas model and see how that works for you, how that makes sense for you. Whatever you do, I'd like to invite you to give yourself time on a regular basis where you can have a little bit more spaciousness, a little bit more time to explore what's going on for you. It's not going to happen if you are continuously busy, if you are focusing primarily on productivity, if you are always doing something, if you are exhausted, not giving yourself enough time to rest and recover. When you are in this more agitated state, whether it's physically or emotionally or psychologically, it's much harder to listen and hear those whispers from within. It's much harder to understand what's really going on for you. So this is always the first step. And, you can do it in so many different ways. You can do it by going for walks in nature and just listening. You can do it by taking some time out and journal. You can do practices like embodied listening practices that we cover in the training. You can do some work with a somatic coach or somatic practitioner. Really understanding that interconnection and the sense of wholeness of your experience is one of the most important aspects of this journey. So take care of yourself for now. And as we are moving into a very busy season, keep asking yourself, what do you need? What's the right thing for you to do? What's the right decision for you to make? Remembering about the wholeness of you, the beauty of you as a human being, and the wisdom of your body. Take care for now.